Until the age of about 17 years, I was a very big introvert. Introvert would be an understatement. I was very shy. I got hesitant and nervous when approaching people. I did not know how to make conversations, and I thought that there's just a piece of the puzzle which is missing in me. So I was very emotionally unstable, especially after last year where I had gone through a breakup as well as some health issues. So during that period, I entered into stoicism.
Let's say we have a stage fear. Obviously, I know, even after having various times speaking in English, once I go to the stage, my mind will just play with me. My heartbeat will just beat up at a very high rate. So I think for that, solution must be just be aware.
There is this psychologist called Jordan Peterson. I have read his book about the 12 rules for life, and he mentioned one thing. The worst emotion that we all feel is envy. कि इसके पास कुछ है, why don't I have that? I want that thing.
Hello, all. We welcome you all to TTT, the Transformation Tape, where we will be having insightful conversations with our guests, which will be centering around philosophy, spirituality, psychology, and something related to general life issues. With this, we are really excited to host our first episode, and I, along with my friend Sujal Vish, will be hosting this first episode. And I'm really excited and will love you all to just stick to the end.
Absolutely, Ayush. I hope our audience is equally excited as Ayush and I are. And as Ayush has already introduced me, I'm Sujal Vish, today's first episode's host along with Ayush. And as he already quoted, that our conversations with our guests in our Transformation Tapes podcast will somewhere revolve around spirituality, philosophy, and all such sort of stuff. So without any further ado and delay, let's dive into our today's guest and have some good conversation along with him. So for our today's episode, first episode, I would say, we have our guest Revant Madnani, and from here, I would like him to say some words to our audience.
Thank you, Ayush. Thank you, Sujal. I feel pretty honored to be a part of the first episode of your podcast series, The Transformation Tapes. And hello, everyone. I am Revant Madnani. I'm a third year mathematics honor student with a very keen interest in psychology and philosophy. There is just something about the human mind which encapsulates me that imagine that you want to have a conversation with someone, but if you can't even understand the workings of their mind, how can you have that conversation? Besides dealing with philosophical topics, I also enjoy going out, going to arcades and even parks. See, because I think there needs to be sort of balance between being stuck in your head as an introvert and going out so as to touch some grass in simpler words. And thank you, Sujal. Thank you, Ayush, for having me on this podcast.
And after listening to this introduction, I hope our audience must have got to know that why actually we chose Raven for our first episode. So, anyways, actually, by seeing his keen interest in philosophy, which somewhat relates to Ayush and me as well, we actually thought of inviting him on our first episode. So, before actually moving on into our conversation for today, I would like to ask something from you that how are you actually into philosophy or how do you actually started your journey of philosophy and all such stuff?
Oh, so for the journey into philosophy and psychology, that is a very long story. See, until the age of about 17 years, I was a very big introvert. Introvert would be an understatement. I was very shy. I got hesitant and nervous when approaching people. I did not know how to make conversations, and I thought that there's just a piece of the puzzle which is missing in me. Maybe if I understand how they are thinking, if I put myself in their shoes, maybe I'll know what to talk. So that is how I entered into psychology. I read every single book there is: How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, How to Build Better Habits to Be More Sociable through the book of Atomic Habits, as well as there is this really awful book, but also a great book. It is called The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. It is a book centered around manipulation, but it can be very helpful in socializing as well. As for psychology, that was it. But philosophy is a different subject altogether. I don't know if you are aware of the topic of stoicism. It's where you keep your emotions inside your head. You don't let them overpower you, but you just sit through them and introspect. So I was very emotionally unstable, especially after last year where I had gone through a breakup as well as some health issues. So during that period, I entered into stoicism, where in order to manage my emotions well, I started to meditate. I started to introspect into myself that what is it that is missing? If there is even something missing, if there are self-esteem issues, or if is it just me being scared of facing the world? So the more you dive deep into these questions, the more you can understand about yourself. That is how I got into philosophy, and it has opened really big doors for me, as you can see by being on this podcast.
That was
Absolutely.
really well said, Revant. Seeing your journey, you have read various books which are related to philosophy, obviously, stoicism, and all that. Even I have read that. And you mentioned how to win friends and influence people. I have read that, and it's a really, literally a brilliant book. I mean, I can see that as a person, you have changed from past few years. And obviously, me and Sujal, we have also worked upon ourselves, and the journey has been really exciting and really encouraging one. So, I mean, for an audience, for an ordinary person who don't know anything about philosophy, who don't know anything about minds, thoughts, and how human emotions work, I mean, what will you suggest to him or her? I mean, obviously, people nowadays literally are facing troubles in life. All those mental related issues, they are just having a hell in their mind. I mean, what would you say to them? I mean, we have experienced those things, but the people literally are a very downside, I will say. They are having troubles. I mean, what would you suggest them?
So, most of our troubles, as you both already know, stem from other people. More basically, stem from being envious of other people. See, there is this psychologist called Jordan Peterson. I have read his book about the 12 rules for life, and he mentioned one thing. The worst emotion that we all feel is envy. कि इसके पास कुछ है, why don't I have that? I want that thing. And it fills us with so much negativity. So, for a person who wants to get into self improvement, get into psychology and philosophy, and has no idea, I have one suggestion that he also gave. Just sit in your room, keep your phone aside, close your eyes, and just ask yourself one question. My life is not what it is meant to be. I can be more. So, what should I improve right now that I can improve? Maybe it will be fixing my bed. Maybe it will be getting a glass of water and becoming hydrated. What is some change that I can make today? Then the next day, ask yourself another question. What is another change I can make today? Because you can't just become a six-pack bodybuilder or a super genius thinker in one day. You have to take it one step at a time. So the first day, maybe you fix your bed. The second day, maybe you do 10 push-ups. The third day, maybe you go for a run. The fourth day, maybe you get into reading books, even if it is one line a day. So it is a step-by-step ladder that you can get into. And some tips I can give you from the books that you can employ right now are so from the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. The first trick is smile. Always smile because you don't want to intimidate the person in front of you. Hi, I am this. See, there's a difference. If you smile, hi, I am this. Hi, I am this. So the person can change their reaction depending on your facial expressions. The second thing is eye contact. Many of us feel very underconfident, very shy in making eye contact. We feel this sort of heaviness in our chest. Now, what am I supposed to do? My mind goes blank. What am I supposed to talk to them? What if they don't like me? So, if you maintain eye contact, then half of your problems are solved. And the other question about what do I even say? My mind is blank. Just listen. The thing with people is we all are very self-centered. We love to talk about ourselves. So if you just listen, you'll make them feel heard. You'll already be a friend in their books. So these are the two tips I can employ right now.
Those are some really great insights that you shared with us and also our audience. But there was one question that was constantly revolving around in my mind while you were actually providing your answer to the Ayush question. That is, obviously you mentioned one book. I forgot the book, but whatever it was, you mentioned one book wherein you stated that okay, you go step by step. It's always a step by step ladder. Maybe at the first day you set your bed, and on the second day you do 100 push-ups, you go for a run, you read a book, whatever you do, isn't it? So the main problem, or rather, I would say the root problem that people often face, and especially the youth and the Gen Z era of today's times actually face is while on their journey towards self-improvement. And I hope Ayush as well have personally experienced it. On our journey towards self-improvement, we often see other people and what we often see other people what actually they are doing. And the biggest, I would say, what I would actually like to allude to it is social media, isn't it? We see people on social media doing some other sort of stuff. So while we are on a journey towards self-improvement, we see other people on social media, what they are doing and all those stuff. That somewhere or other tend us to deviate from our path, from whatever we do. Maybe on the second day you need to do 100 push-ups, but whatever you see, maybe there's some person who is actually at a very high level as compared to you, who is actually maybe posting something other than on social media that somewhere or other tends to deviate you from your path towards self improvement. So how do you actually come out from that problem or that stuff that most of the people in today's day face?
Okay, that is a brilliant question you have asked, Sujal. So, I remember a quote that I read a few weeks back. The best and most lethal way to kill your own happiness is to compare it with someone else's. Yep. So, any moment, see, we all got onto this self improvement journey to improve ourselves and become a better version of us. But though we may have seen a lot of changes in the past 1, 2, 3 decades, but if we compare it with someone else, we feel like we have not done anything. They are at a much higher level. So the easy part is hating ourselves. The difficult part is loving ourselves for who we are, seeing the changes in ourselves. Because if we were to compare it with someone else, let's say, as you mentioned, a person does 100 push ups. He has been able to reach this point by starting from one push up, right? Over an entire year. But a person on Instagram you see who is doing 1,000 push ups, who is rich, who has a bungalow, who is basically a much nicer version of Andrew Tate, let's say. So, if you compare yourself with that person, how can you even relate? Maybe he's in the age of 32, you are 20. There's a 12-year age gap, but we will not see that. We will just see that we are lesser than him. So the reason why we do that is there's this inherent quality in us to compare us with someone else. We don't like our achievements. We think that these achievements are a part of us. They define us. And if it is a part of us, we want to compare our achievements. We don't want to enjoy our achievements here. Now I have done the 10 push-ups. Now I've been able to score this many marks. We want to compare. I have done this, but what has he done? Because if he has done better than me, even in one particular aspect, then he's overall better than me. See, everyone is different. Everyone has a different journey. One can have a poor body but a rich mind. One can have a rich body, a very healthy person, but he does not have the funds to support his family. Every single person has a different journey. Like you may be more articulate than me in certain matters, while I have more writing experience or blogging experience. So you can't compare your journey with someone else. That is what we don't understand. But the advent of social media just brought about this movement where you have to show your best to the world. See, it is a competition. It is genuinely a competition in life that we are showing up for performance. We are showing up for audition. God is the person who is going to be selecting us, and all of us have come with a prepared script. However, some scripts may have a villain, some scripts may have a protagonist, some scripts may have a side character. But we just think what is in his script. We don't even read our own script. Isn't that just stupid? But that is all we do.
Okay, that
Exactly,
was
that's
a
what generally
yes,
happens.
Sujal.
Yeah. So I would just like to complete whatever Revan said. That's what generally happens, right? People have this tendency of living life in relativeness, like obviously comparing their lives to the other people, especially to their fellow mates. Whether you are in college, you are comparing your life to your batchmates, whoever is posting regularly on social media, whatever it is, right? So that's what people feel Gen Z era in this day or in this era faces. That is living life in relativeness rather than in absoluteness. That's some good point that you shared with us.
Yes. Anyways, also Revant, I would like to ask you one thing. As a human being, we most of the time we want to get something, we want to have something. Let's say we imagine that once I'll get this person, I'll be happy. Once I'll get this achievement, this degree, this job, and every other material thing. We I don't know why, but every time we feel some sort of unfulfillment within unfulfillment. And till then, I mean, till when these things will continue? I mean, till when will I be feeling unfulfilled? Isn't there any absoluteness? I mean, let's say a person did 100 push-ups. Still, absolutely, I can say he will be feeling a certain kind of unfulfillment there also. I mean, even after getting a good job, even after achieving materially successful and all that, even after that, he'll be having some kind of unfulfillment within. So till when we will be actually facing or feeling this? Isn't there any way to be absolute or just to live in present and just to be happy whatever we have? I mean, why is there a quest of every time improving, growing? Till when we'll be improving? I mean, obviously we have to live in the present now. So what's your views upon this?
Okay, that is a great question. Till when will we be improving? Till when will we be feeling inadequate? Now, See, there's this book called The Way of the Superior Man. The very first chapter in it says, stop hoping for completion of anything in life. Stop hoping that there will be a day where you will be perfect. See, perfection is an illusion. We can never achieve it. The very purpose of life, and even I don't understand it fully, but it is that you will be struggling. Your life is a struggle, and it will continue to struggle. There is no point where now I am great, now I can be fulfilled, and now I don't need to work on myself. The entire point is to keep working on yourself while being content with who you are. See, negative emotions are just things which we all face. The only issue we have is that we attach meaning to them. That maybe I'm feeling anxiety during this interview. That is just it. Now, I can also say that I am feeling anxiety because I'm underconfident. But I'm not. But I will think that way, right? We are attaching meaning to this negative emotion that I'm underconfident. But that is not the case. See, for the feeling of inadequacy, like you mentioned, a person is doing 100 push ups. After he did the 100 push ups, it is a great achievement. But he'll feel, man, I couldn't do 110 push ups. What a failure I am. Then he'll try for 110 push ups the next month. Then he'll cry about not doing 120 push ups. So you will just keep aiming higher and higher. And that's not a bad quality. It will make you feel a bit empty, but it is a good quality. So the point is to keep aiming higher and higher while enjoying your achievements, while being grounded in the present. See, to keep worrying about the future is a very bad thing because you will just think that maybe if I do push ups right now, my future self will be more ripped. Maybe if I get a girlfriend right now, my future self will be much more happier. Maybe if I get good marks right now, I'll have a successful career. And right now, doing that, thinking about the future, you'll sacrifice everything around you. You'll leave your friends, you'll leave your ambitions just for your future self. So the key thing in life, there are two things. One, to do things for your future self, that is improve. And the other thing is to enjoy your current self. Because all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. That's the most basic thing we learned in nursery. So keep improving yourself while enjoying the things that are right now. Absoluteness that when will this journey end? This journey will never end. This is the point of life that you will keep fighting, you will keep struggling because that is the point. Why would you want a smooth sailing boat? Isn't that boring? If you're on a roller coaster, the moment you get to the top, what do you think? Do you think, ah, yeah, that was a fun ride? Or do you think, man, I'm excited when it goes down and I feel the thrill, the rush through my body? That is what you need. You need the ups and downs in life because, see, happiness, sadness, opposite points of a spectrum. But what do we know about happiness if not in comparison to sadness? If we are neutral, then happiness will also be neutral. It is because we are sad that we can compare it to happiness. No? When you are low, you can compare it to being high. That is why I sort of don't agree with the point of relativeness. Relativeness is good until it's related to you only. Until you're comparing yourself to you who you were yesterday. The moment you start comparing yourself to other people, relativeness is a curse which spreads throughout your body and it will consume you completely. I hope that answers your question.
So I think basically what I have gained that you must enjoy your life, whatever ups and downs, whatever highs and lows. Obviously, since there is happiness, there'll also be sadness. And you just have to enjoy whatever nature is throwing at you. Obviously, because we are just an observer. If we just clinch or make judgments of life, why is that happened, why this is not, I think we'll just create a misery of our own. So yeah, that was a good solution to our audience as well, I will think.
Exactly. And I actually, the best part that I liked about the answer that you said that obviously, if you know what sadness is, only then you will get to know what happiness is. It's similar to just like if you know what darkness is, only then you will know what light is, isn't it? If you are just kept in a dark room and you don't know anything about light, how can you actually elude that? Yes, you are sitting in a dark room. I hope it's not getting a bit complex, right? So yes, this is what it is. But don't you think because all these things we have been since childhood, we have been reading in books, all these things we have been reading in books, we have been watching on videos, be it on YouTube, on Instagram, or any other platform. The thing is, I think it's easier said than done, right? Maybe the audience that is listening to us right now, right? Maybe they may get some insights, maybe Ayush or I get some insights and all this other stuff. But after actually having this podcast, or anyone who is right now listening to this podcast, if they go back, I'm pretty sure they will again get stuck to the same web, right? The same web of again comparing themselves to others and all those other stuff. So, from your point of view, what is it that you will suggest to our audience? that they can employ right after listening to this podcast to actually get rid of this relativeness stuff that we are talking about right now.
Take off your earphones, put your phone on airplane mode, go for a freaking walk. Just walk for an hour and just keep thinking. Not thinking negative emotions, they will arise, and they always arise when you are alone, especially when you are alone. Just think about what I can do right now. Maybe I can sleep early today. I have eye bags under my eyes. Maybe that will help with it. So that you were right that we will all end up in this web once again because we all have been there. We listen to podcast, we listen to Har Maidan Fateh song, we get very excited and very motivated for life that I'm going to change my life, and the next day we return back to our hellhole. Why is that? Because comfort is the solution that we have kept within us. Comfort will destroy us. That is the goal. That is its goal, that it will completely ruin us. And as Ayush said, that the point of life is enjoying yourself, but to only enjoy yourself will also lead to ruin. There's this very fine line between enjoyment, love, and wasting your life away. You need to be at the love level where you love yourself, where you appreciate yourself. You don't exercise thinking for external validation that maybe if I exercise, I will be able to attract this person. I will be able to look bigger, to be able to look stronger. You start thinking maybe I should exercise because my future self will become more confident with it. Not because it will affect anyone around us, but because it is good for you. Because, see, the point of life is you're not the only character in your story. That is called being a narcissist and self centered. But you are the main character, right? You're not the only character, but you are the main character. It is your story. So you need to be comfortable with the people around you, but you need to focus on yourself. Being selfish sometimes does help because if you can't help yourself, if you are inadequate, actually inadequate, if you are useless, if you don't have any skills, how can you love or care for the people around you? How can you be there for your family if you can't even get off the couch? So you need to take up responsibility. That is the only solution, Sujal, that I can provide you to get out of this web of lies. To be honest with yourself completely. Because the thing is, we all buy into our bullshit a lot. We think that maybe I should go out on my own and watch this movie alone, as nerve-wracking as it is to sit in a hall by yourself. But then our brain will come up with excuses that I don't even like this movie. I am tired today. That is called buying into your own bullshit. That is called not being able to face your fears. Because the fears that we avoid will become our limits, will hold us back for all eternity. So the thing is, adopting responsibility. Maybe I should go out because the first time I will be scared a lot, but the next time I will be less scared. And maybe after the fifth time, I will be enjoying popcorn while watching the movie and laughing loudly. So, adopting responsibility for your life is the only solution. Take up everything. Maybe I get hurt because my feelings were rejected. Maybe I was not able to get good marks. Instead of blaming the education system, my teachers were not able to teach me. Did you attend the classes? Did you actually even put in the effort? No, right? We all love to blame. We all love to fall back into this web of casualness that maybe we don't need to put in effort. That is, again, buying into your own stories, into your own excuses. Be completely honest with yourself. I got bad marks because I didn't study. Say to yourself that you acted like an idiot this time, but next time you won't. That is my solution.
Absolutely, this reminds me of one instance which I actually heard from Ankur Wariko. He actually quoted that inculcate a habit of getting rejected at least once a week or a month. This is what something which actually hit hard deep inside me. That is, get a habit or rather inculcate a habit of getting rejected from some or the other person. What will happen is when you get rejected from some or the other person once a week or once a month, you will actually get out from that uncomfortable zone. Because until and unless you get out from that comfortable zone, actually until and unless you get out from that comfortable zone to that uncomfortable zone, you won't actually get to know the areas that you are lacking in. Maybe the topic that we are talking upon right now, maybe the insights that you are sharing with us right now. You must have faced all such problems in the past through which you actually came out nicely. You showed adversity at that time in the face of resilience, right? So that is something which you actually showed at that time, and now you are sharing it with us. Yes, those are some great insights.
Sevant, also you mentioned, am I audible? Yes, yes. Also you mentioned about the play of the mind. Basically, our mind literally plays with us. Anything, let's say it has some thought patterns. Whenever we see some external situation, our mind literally inculcates those thought patterns, and we literally feel often miserable. So I just wanted to ask one thing. For this, don't you think that even after having knowledge, even after gaining insights, we still face the same situation? Don't you think for that a solution can be just to be aware, just to be aware how our mind is tricking with us, just to be aware how these thought patterns are literally creating a hell inside of us. Because once we get aware, I think we might create a certain distance from those thoughts. And once we create distance, those thoughts and those emotions, those patterns will start diminishing, vanishing. And just because of awareness, and after creating a certain distance, I think we will be able to get rid of whatever problem we are facing. Let's say we have a stage fear. Obviously, I know even after having various times speaking in English, once I go to the stage, my mind will just play with me. My heartbeat will just beat up at a very high rate. So I think for that solution must be just be aware, because as a human, this thing will happen. Even if you get old, even after 10 years, this will happen again. Just be aware and speak what you want to speak, creating a distance from those thoughts and emotions and patterns. So, what's your say on this? Is it a real a good solution? Yes, yes.
It is actually a great solution. See, there are two things that you mentioned that I completely agree with. It is self awareness and it is detachment from your thoughts. See, mindfulness is the practice where you know that there are thoughts running through your head, but you are not your thoughts. See, an OCD specialist said that 70,000 thoughts run through our head, and about 1,000 thoughts are ours. Others are just floating around, waiting to be seen. So, as your point said, self awareness. Because, see, if you are aware that what are the issues that lie within you, that what are the negative thoughts that you are having, you can detach from them, as you said, which is very correct. Like the moment you got on stage, you felt the stage fear and you were aware of it. You were present in the moment and you realized, oh, okay, I'm having stage fear. And the reason that you are aware of it is because you can feel this negative emotion within you. And the point with awareness is because you realize that I am feeling nervous, you can now just ignore it. I am feeling nervous, so I'm going to ignore it and I'm going to still speak. Now, if you were not even aware of your nervousness, you would just think, maybe I'm not a good speaker, maybe I'm not just cut out for this. But now that you're aware of it, you can say, okay, I'm facing nervousness. The next time I won't be facing it, but for now, I will be doing my best and I will be doing good. And the other thing with self-awareness is, let's say you are on your improvement journey and you exercised for 6 days continuously, and you know that tomorrow is your rest day after working out your legs, your arms, your biceps. And though you know it is your rest day, you still feel that your body can handle another day of exercise. Now, if you're not aware of this, you would not do your exercise the next day. But if you're aware that your body can handle more, you will be able to push yourself more, right? So, as long as you know about yourself, what you desire, what you crave, what you need, and then you'll be able to achieve anything. But yes, you said that though we have the knowledge, we just don't input it. Like you can read about 100 self-improvement books, but if you are not ready to put yourself out in the world, then the knowledge is meaningless. You can learn about the 2-minute rule from the Atomic Habits, that if I'm feeling lazy, I can just do the activity in 2 minutes. But if you don't even know what activity to do, what will you do? That is the point. So, being aware about yourself, being aware of what you want in life, what you want to achieve, what you want to feel, because emotions are a very big part of us. They help us in through everything. Like I heard that instead of thinking that you are facing anxiety when speaking up, think of it as excitement. That I am anxious to get on stage. No, wait, this is not anxiety. I'm feeling excited because of my ability to speak well. I'm excited to address the crowd. The key is being delusional sometimes, to convince yourself that you are much more than your thoughts make you out to be. Your thoughts may tell you that you are inadequate, that you are useless, that you are not doing enough for your family, that you don't have enough friends. But if you were to compare yourself to your past, you will definitely see a change. Like Ayush, I was going through a LinkedIn post and I saw that you were this hyper energetic, very violent sort of child who took your anger and your frustration with yourself out on other people. But through your journey, you wrote, you tried meditation, you tried self improvement, you tried going to the gym, and I'm pretty sure that you're going to the gym right now. And through these activities, you were able to see that Maybe the reason for my frustration was me being frustrated at myself for not being able to fulfill all that I could be. And now that you're actually employing yourself into your life after being self-aware, don't you feel less anxiety, less anger, much more calmer with the people around you?
Yes, Revan, literally, my life has been changed from past 3 years, I would say, since I have been beginning my spiritual journey, let's say. It's been literally a different life. I think I will just divide my life into two phases. One was before that, one is after that. And I'm really enjoying this. Also, I think in order to grow for a journey of self improvement, I think first of all, before we talk about awareness and all that, a person must have sincere desire within to grow. Unless or until you don't have a desire to grow itself, you can't do anything. Let's say you read 1,000 books, 100 books of self improvement. Even after that, since you have don't any, if you don't have any sincere desire to grow, to change yourself, I don't think that's gonna help you. So I think desire is a must.
Am I audible?
Yes, Revant, you're audible.
Okay. Hello.
Okay, anyways, I have a question for
Okay.
you. Goes like
Good.
goes like you in your answer to the Ayush questions. You said that people often face anger, right? Even Ayush, maybe in his LinkedIn post, he mentioned that he used to face anger, but after actually moving on to his spiritual journey, he actually left some part of that Ayush that he had been before spirituality. But yes, even in today's date, what do you think? Let's say for the people who are at a very high level of spirituality, what do you think? Would they not be actually experiencing anger within? Because even after coming at a certain level in spirituality, if it's Ayush, it's me, or even if it's you, after coming in a certain level of spirituality, even after that, we feel some level of anger within ourselves. So, what do you think is actually right at the moment? Do you think that people who are at a very high level of spirituality, they must not be actually experiencing anger at any moment of their life? Or even if we face anger, shouldn't we actually express it? Because there's a difference between reaction and what do we say? There's a difference between reaction. It's actually not coming up in my mind right now. But yes, anger, from my point of view, almost everyone feels, be it a spiritual person or be it a non-spiritual person. Almost everyone feels anger within themselves. But the important part from my point of view, from my perspective, is to not actually express that anger to some other person. To wait for some moment, as we say, isn't it? To wait for some moment. So would you like to say upon this perspective?
See, so you said that the people who are at the top of the spiritual ladder, they must not feel anger. The irony is they feel the most anger. They feel the most amount of negative emotions because they're aware of the emotions. See, some of us, we go through our lives in a sort of zombie, lifeless mode, where we wake up, we switch on autopilot, we brush, we get ready, we go for our college or for our workplace, we return, and repeat the same routine every single day. But for spiritual people, they are aware of themselves every single moment. They know that maybe I should wear this shirt because it makes me look much more presentable. Then they'll go into another segue. Why do I want to look presentable? Maybe because I want to be appreciated. Then they'll into another segue. Why do I want to be appreciated? Maybe because I feel inadequate. So they can spiral into negative emotions much faster than all of us. But the thing with spirituality is the more they're aware of these negative emotions, the more they can disregard them. Okay, I am feeling very negative and inadequate about myself. I feel angry at myself for not being able to do all that I could do today. But then, as they are spiritual, as they are much more understanding of themselves, they say, okay, I made a mistake today. I will do better tomorrow. Instead of being all angry at themselves and letting this consume them, wasting the entire day, they just allow themselves to have a rest day and do better the next day. That is with spirituality. And as Ayush earlier mentioned about desires, without having desires, you can't achieve anything because motivation is derived from desire. To want something is the only way to be able to get something. Because what do you even want to get if you don't know what you want? So desires are the key to achieving anything in life. The most successful people in the world, let's say Elon Musk, let's say Steve Jobs, how are they able to become such big pioneers? They all had dreams at the starting of their life. Steve Jobs thought that he was going to build the first computer and make sure that it reached every single person's home. Now we have mini computers, our little phones, which we can't even go anywhere without. Next, let's say the case of Elon Musk. Elon Musk did not have anything special going for him, but through his academics and through his knowledge of the space, as well as aerodynamics, and through his hard work, he was able to create such a big empire, not only in Tesla, but also by sending the first car to the moon, as ironic as that sounds. So, desires are the crux of everything in life. Many people will be like that, you are so egoistic, you want so much, when is this greed going to end? But greed is what brings people forward. If you're not greedy, if you don't want more, then how will you get more? See, any person can be satisfied with themselves. You can lie to yourself that, okay, maybe I'm a bit overweight. That's fine. I love myself. But you can be slimmer, right? So you're just lying to yourself. And maybe when you desire to have a six pack, though you may not be able to get it, you can be much fitter than your current version, right? Won't it be much helpful for you? You'll have more energy, you'll feel much more better about yourself, your confidence will rise. And the thing with confidence is once that starts to rise, everything in your life gets better. So that was my point. Spirituality is very closely connected with desires, and desires is connected to getting successful in life.
Absolutely, I think every successful person, rather, every successful person's journey starts with a strong desire to become that future level of him or the future version of him, isn't it? To actually get at the top of that ladder, you need to first have the desire to actually move out there. So it all starts with the desire. And at this point in time that we are having the conversation, I don't think it's actually important to be a spiritual person or to be a non-spiritual person. Even if you are a non-spiritual person, if you have the desire to actually be at that level, be at that level of spirituality or be at that level of enlightenment, if you have that strong desire to become or to be the future version, the way you see yourself in the years to come, I think you will surely get what you want. And this is exactly what the book that is the Rich Dad Poor Dad mentions, right? I have read the book wherein it actually says that in order to achieve something, you need to have a strong burning desire, not just a normal desire, but a strong burning desire to achieve it. Because until and unless you have that, you won't be able to actually manifest that future version of yourself. That is some good point that you mentioned.
Anyways, yes. Since we are talking about desires from past 5-10 minutes, I would like to just share a different perspective of what I have seen on YouTube videos, to be very honest. Let's say it's about Zen philosophy and all that. They say that suppose you're doing an act and you are doing that act without any want in return, without any desire, you're just completely in a state of flow in present, and you're just doing that act by your full involvement. You're fully surrender to what it is without having any motive or any desire. Let's say, for example, uh, let's say I'm going to the gym. For example, I don't have any desire for six pack abs, but I'm going just to enjoy, just to be there, just to give myself, and that's it. I don't have any desire. The result, the pain itself is a result for me. Let's say those movements, those lifting, that itself is a result for me. So how will you define that state of mind? I mean, I have heard that in YouTube videos from Zen philosophy that you are just content with life. You don't have any those much wantings, motives, desires, and all that. You have to achieve, achieve, achieve. Not that. You're just fully present. You're happy. You're fulfilled, and then you're doing some act. And don't you think this will also improve the quality of that act? Just yeah, I just want to know your views upon that.
Okay, so you bring up a very valid point. It is actually scientifically and psychologically proven. So I've read this book called The Happiness Concept, The Happiness Mindset, and it is centered around flow state, which was given by a scientist. I don't know the name. It is starts something with M. So the flow state is where you are so immersed into a certain activity, your entire focus around everything around you except the activity vanishes. Your sense of time vanishes, and the only thing that gives you happiness is the activity itself. Like you may have noticed, as you mentioned in the gym, when you're hitting your PR, or maybe it's a big day for you that you're going to be doing a very big deadlift, you think about nothing except the deadlift, nothing except the weight. And that is when you are able to bring yourself fully to the task at hand. So the key concept for entering this flow state, as far as I remember, you need to completely get rid of all the distraction around you. Like when we are sitting down to study, our mind keeps wandering. Maybe I should eat something. Maybe I should switch on my phone. Maybe I need to do some other subject instead of this one. So these are all just distractions. You need to get rid of it. Keep your phone aside. Keep your thought. You can't keep your thoughts outside your mind, but you can become much more calm. Maybe you can meditate, so you can get rid of these thoughts. The second thing is to not look at the end result, as you mentioned. See, when chess players plays a game, they are so immersed into the activity that they are able to visualize this called the tree of chess, where you can see about 1,000 to 10,000 moves at once. And because they're so immersed into it, they can't even pay attention to the time on the clock which is running. They don't even remember anything. They don't remember their own name, their own family, because the only thing that matters to them at that moment is the chessboard. Now, what happens? Why are we not able to enter flow state? People, average people like you, me, why are we not able to enter it so easily? Because when we do a task, we think about the end result. That I should do this because I will be getting this in return. Or maybe if I'm playing badminton, I need to win this match by getting 14 points. Because we are constantly thinking about how to win, we don't think about how to play. So the key concept is being involved in the activity and not just caring about anything in the world. And you don't need to get a reward for the activity. For the activity itself is the reward for you. Getting to play chess is the reward for you. Getting to exercise, feeling the pain in your muscles, feeling the soreness is the reward for you. The thing that you get in return, may you get it or you not get it, is just extra participation award. The reward that you really want is the suffering that you're doing right now. And flow state is genuinely one of the most interesting things that I have experienced in my life so far. Once I got the book, I tried for a week to enter flow state, and it just boosts your productivity by about 500%. Literally, it is scientifically proven. And for a starting beginner to enter flow state, I have a tip that you create a morning ritual or create an activity ritual to enter the flow state. Like if you want to study, you keep your phone aside, you create a sort of ritual. Maybe you join your hands, maybe you take three deep breaths to tell your mind that I'm going to be entering this zone, I'm going to be entering this flow state, and anybody or anything that disturbs me doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is this activity. So as you're making it some sort of official trance or event, you're basically doing cultish activities. As you are making it a routine that once I do this, I will be a part of the flow zone, it becomes a part of you because our brain has this habit of memorizing patterns. If it memorizes that after these three deep breaths, I become very smart, I become very genius, I become much more involved in the activity, then I remember. And every time you do these three deep breaths, you'll be able to enter the zone. So flow state is actually a very good point. It can help a lot of people in their journey.
Yes. I think that's a very good method you have shared. Even I am inspired for that, and I'm planning to do it every morning before study. Like you have mentioned that just join your hands or take three deep breaths. That basically signals our mind. Okay. Anyways, I think yeah, that's a very good way to live in absoluteness. I mean, you're just contempt with the nature itself. Whatever life is having or just throwing at yourself, you're just fully into it without any motive, without any desire. Because since if you are in a desire, it creates a certain kind of unfulfillment within you. Don't you think? I mean, if we are fulfilled within, then even the activity or the productivity will itself improve. And we don't care about the results. I think that's a very good way to live. We are just happy. We don't care what the result is. I'm just doing it. I'm fully content. I'm just fulfilled and I'm happy with it. I think that's what absoluteness is. Rather than just comparing, desiring, or just trying to be achieving and all that. I think to be content and to be fully involved in what actually there is. That's a better way, I would say, a much better way to live life. Yes.
Before we move on, I think Revant, you can just adjust your mic. I think your voice is cracking in between.
Okay, is it better?
Right now it's better, but anyways, so yes, I have a question that as you mentioned about the flow state, just be in that flow state and actually get it from get by getting the insights that you shared about the flow state, you can easily say that okay, you need to set aside the result that you get from the activity that you do and just focus on the activity. For example, Ayush mentioned that go to the gym, whether you are exercising, whether you are doing a heavy deadlift, isn't it? Just focus on that activity that they are doing, or be it a badminton match that you're playing against your friend. Just be involved in the match that you're playing and set aside the result. But my question is, the question that is actually rising on your mind is it, can we actually set aside the result? Isn't it? Because we are doing an activity, we are prone to actually think about the result. Let's say you are in the gym, you are hitting the gym for the past 1 year, and after 1 year, if you don't see a substantial change in your body, sorry, if you don't see a substantial change in your body, obviously you're bound to get demotivated, right? At that time, I don't think that, or I won't say that I don't think, but there's a big question on this flow state, isn't it? That after 1 year of gymming, if you don't see substantial change in your body, aren't you bound to get demotivated? At that time, can you actually say to yourself that, okay, no issues, I must just focus on the activity that I do, I must just do the leg presses at the gym, I must just lift up the weights, no matter how or in what condition my body is. So the basic question that is actually rising in my mind is it actually possible? Is it actually possible to set aside the result that you get from your activity? Because that's what, or rather, that's how we are intrinsically born. That's how we are intrinsically bound to think. We are bound to think about the result. And I don't think that we can actually eliminate this aspect from ourselves.
Hello, am I audible?
Your voice is lagging in between. Both the audio and the video
Okay, is it better now?
are pretty
Yes,
better.
yes, it's much better.
Okay, so as you correctly mentioned that how can we not think about the result? Like a person goes to the gym for an entire year. If he can't see a growth in his muscles, then why would he continue going to the gym? That is a very valid point. But that is where the thing comes, which is the most important. You can't directly see change, you need to find the change. Maybe you can't see a very substantial growth in your muscles, but can you change? But can you see a change in your energy levels? Can you see a change in your work ethic? See, not the gymming is not the only change that came into your body, right? It has brought a lot of benefits with it. Maybe you got a much stricter routine, a much stronger mindset. The point that most people fumble upon, that the reason why they can't stick to self improvement is because they don't see change, as Ankar Vaiko also clearly mentioned. So what do you need to do is to be able to find change. Maybe like you got a very low marks in an exam, you got about 33 out of 100 exam. The next time you were able to get 34. That is actually very bad still, but you got a single mark improvement, right? Now you can be like, I still didn't pass, but you got a single mark more than last time. Now this is just what you did in the next paper. Imagine you do this for 10 papers straight. Now you were able to get 60, 67 out of 100. You're still not able to compete with the top scorers in the class, but comparing yourself to your 33-year-old, 33 mark self, don't you see that there's a big change? So time doesn't justify what efforts you need to put in. What justifies your efforts is seeing the change in you. And though you are right, a person goes to the gym to gain muscle. But if you ask any builder out there, any person who strictly goes to the gym and has a lifestyle dedicated around it, they'll tell you they don't care about muscles anymore. They care about the happiness the exercise brings them. If you can ask any single person who exercises out there that the activity itself is so enjoyable for them that they feel much more happier to be able to become a part of it.
I don't think there will be a better person than me to actually ask that question. So that rightly applies to my situation. But anyways, still, what I think is that again gets us back to that stuff, right? That is, until and unless we get something, for example, going to a gym, even if it doesn't actually build our muscles properly, let's say it actually calms our mind down, it brings more confidence within us. Whenever we talk to people, we talk with more confidence, maybe due to the physique, maybe because of the confidence that we have built because of going to the gym. That again brings us back to the result. That until and unless, what my question actually is that until and unless you will get some result out of some activity, I would you actually do that particular stuff. Now that result may be a direct result or an indirect result. Direct result may be going to the gym builds your muscles. Indirect result is going to the gym builds your confidence, right? So until and unless, no matter the indirect result or the indirect result, if you don't get either of them, obviously why will you be able to willing to continue? What actually I want to say is you can not eliminate the result totally out of the equation, right? You
Hmm.
cannot eliminate result totally out of the equation. Somewhere or other, it plays a important role, isn't it? Until and unless you get some of the result, whether indirect or indirect, why would we actually continue that activity? That is the point that I actually wanted to mention.
Yep, so I definitely do agree with it. See, the point of not being able to remove the result from the equation is very right. When I said that you need to focus and enjoy the activity, I did not mean remove the result from it. That is where the part of desire comes in. See, why did you go to the gym? You had a desire to improve yourself and gain more muscle. Because of that desire, you were able to go to the gym. Now, once you have the desire, you go and employ the activity. But the point is, once you are in the activity, you don't think about anything else other than the activity. Like, you go to the gym today because you want to improve. When you enter the gym, all you need to care about is finishing your exercise. Nothing else matters. You you may have noticed that when people are exercising, they don't think that what will I be looking like the next week. They only care about lifting the dumbbell in front of them before it crashes on their face. That is the only point. Now, if once the person leaves the gym, maybe they will start thinking again that I am not able to do as much as I can do. So my point is the desire will always be a part of you, but when you are in the activity, let the activity be the only thing that matters. And as you said that if we don't see the result, why would we even put in the effort? And that is valid because why would you do anything in life if you can't get something in return? And that is as centered as it sounds and as superficial as it sounds, that is the motive of life. We only do efforts to get something in return. The only time we are not able to do something and get something in return is the point of love, where we do something for our family or someone we care about. We do things not expecting anything in return, and that is what brings us the most fulfillment. But in the case of self improvement, studying, focusing on your career, maybe getting a romantic partner, maybe getting a much more attractive and much more fit body, the thing we care about is getting the result. And that is right. But the point is, if you are putting the efforts, if you're genuinely putting in the efforts towards a very productive activity, you will see results. You will see results because countless humans, thousands, lakhs, crores of humans before you have tried the same exercise, the same morning routine of taking a cold shower, having a face wash, and getting ready for your college or your workplace. Every single person has tried and they have become successful in their life because of it, right? So the if you're actually putting in the efforts, it's just a matter of patience. You will see the result, and just the point is to stick by the efforts.
And I think the bottom line that our audience would like to hear is that is, if you want to actually get into something, it's your expectation that will actually get into that particular thing. For example, if you want to go to the gym, maybe building some good muscle is something that will actually enable or pursue you to actually hit the gym, to actually take the membership, to actually first time experience lifting those weights. But once you start lifting those weights, until unless you get joy in the activity itself, I don't think there's a point in continuing it, right? Because expecting to build muscle is something that can actually pursue you to get the membership of the gym. But after that, leaving aside that muscle building part and all those stuff, if you enjoy the activity itself in its fullest, whether deadlifts or whatever you're doing, I think that gives you the most joy in whatever you're doing.
Yes, I think let's make it a play. Suppose, let's not talk about gym only. Suppose I have a motive of achieving academic goal. Let's say I want to clear my any examination, let's say CFA or CA, whatever. So now I have a goal in my mind. Now I'll make the plans accordingly. I'll make plans since I have to clear my CA examination. I have these routine schedules and I have plan accordingly. Now since you have made plans according to your goal, now come to the present, fully focus with your mind and just study in the present. That's all. Suppose you are not even okay. Let's say you have studied fully, being fully present in a flow state, you have given your efforts. And even after that, you might see that I have not substantially achieved the results. Then change the strategy, interpret your plan, again come to the present. I think that's a very good way. In this, you are at the same time while having a goal in your mind, at the same time you are in the flow state of flow. I mean, let's say at the same time you have a goal that I want to be a CA, but at the same time you are in a state of flow that I have made these strategies. Now I'm currently fully focused into it. If I have not improved, then I'll change my strategy and then again fully come or focus be in it. And that's, I think, at the same time, you can have a motive, obviously. As a human, we'll all have some motive. Behind our every action, we have some motive or some, we are seeking certain fulfillment behind every action. Let's say, even with this conversation, we want to get something. We are looking for something, even with this conversation itself. Be a part of gym or studies and all that. So I think, yeah, as a human, we obviously have some motive to do every act. But the thing is, after having a motive in your mind, make a strategy and do this. Let's say through this conversation, we have a motive of gaining spiritual insights. Now we have a motive, but we are now fully immersed, or let's say fully absorbed in the conversation. That's it. So I think at the same time, we can have absoluteness and a certain desire or a motive in our mind. So yeah, I think that's a very good point. I just came to my mind. I wanted to share. And yeah, I would like to know your views as well.
Okay, so I do definitely agree with your point that once you have the motive, you're able to achieve the task that you wanted to do. See, that is the entire point of goal setting. Goals are set because you want something. And let's say you write down three wants that you want right now. Okay, for the listeners who are listening to this, I would just urge you to take a part in this activity. Take a notepad, take a pen, write down three things that I want, that I really want in my life at the moment, which could help me feel better about myself, help out my family, help out my friends, help out with my self image. Write down these three wants. Now, once you have written the three wants, carefully go through them. You'll see that there are tasks which you can do which are common among the three. Like, let's say you have three goals: to score much better academically, to have a fitter body, and to have a sharper and much relaxed mind, much more calmer, much more spiritual. So, what are the tasks that you can do right now based on these motives? First of all, you can meditate. That will not only help you become calm, but it can also help with your concentration, thus taking out two tasks at the same time: calmness and academics. Now, next, after that, you can start stretching. Maybe you can start yoga. That will take care of all three. It will not only improve your concentration for the first, it will help you get a fitter body, and it will also help with your calmness. So, write down various tasks that you can do to achieve these wants. As you clearly mentioned, because besides the motives, nothing else you can do that will lead you to your successful journey. And failure is an opportunity for growth, as you said, because the more you try, the more you will fail. The more you fail, the more you'll gain the wisdom through it. Maybe, as you said, that I want to score much better academically. For a CA student, suppose they practiced a lot, they were able to clear the foundation exam, they were able to clear the intermediate exam, but they just lost it at the advanced exam. Now, they can feel sad about themselves. They can let these negative emotions overwhelm them and start thinking maybe CA is not the right path for me. Now, if they had another perspective that, oh, I messed up in this specific section of the paper, I'll practice more on this topic the next time. Maybe they'll be able to do better on the next test. Suppose they again fail and they see that, oh, I was also lagging in this aspect, and they were able to accomplish that particular section of the paper as well. Surely, the more you try, the more success you will gain because the more insight you will gain. And once there's no more information to be had, you'll be able to achieve your goal. So, the goal is to keep trying because failure is the key to success. The more you lose, the more you will win.
Absolutely, Revant. I think, I hope I'm audible. Yeah,
Yes.
so I think again reconnects us to the conversation that we had somewhere in the between. That is, you must have a strong desire to achieve something, right? Until and unless you have a desire to achieve something, you won't actually be willing to put in those efforts right out there, isn't it? So that is something which is which has been quite aptly described by you in the answer that you actually had with us. So yes, that was some good thing. And what I, from my point of view, think is that desire is a root cause of something of actually, which actually gets you towards doing something, whether it's doing a gym, whether it's focusing on your career, or whatever it is. It's a strong desire that you must have within yourself. And that is something which various books mentions, right? Which various books mention, be it Rich Dad Poor Dad, Atomic Habits, and any self-help book that you will read that maybe you, I, and Ayush must have read. That is what they mentioned. You must have a strong desire to actually achieve something. And no matter how pleased the quotes must be, that is failure is the only way to success, and whatever it is, no matter how clean they must be, still people do not apply them properly in their lives. Then people do say that yes, don't tell me this again and again. That I have heard of this quote that yes, failure is the way to success. Don't tell me this again and again. This is too clean. But no matter how clean they must be, no matter how traditional or old they must be, people still don't apply in their lives, and that's the truth from my point of view. If they actually apply it in their life, they will understand the true meaning of these least quotes that come from our maybe from our ancestors or whosoever it is. That is something we actually gained from this conversation of yours. And I think it was nice and very great talking to you. And Ayush, and our audience shared some very beautiful, insightful insights from you that we can actually apply in our lives, employ within ourselves as soon as we get away from this podcast. So before concluding it any further, anything Ayush you want to say?
Yes, obviously, the conversation has been very great, especially for our audience who have no introduction to philosophy, no introduction to self improvement, let's say. For them, obviously, this conversation might be something which can change themselves to a certain extent, or at least can motivate them. Yeah. Obviously, a quote is coming to my mind at the end, I will say, from William Shakespeare, if I'm not wrong. Uh, Let me think about it. Life is just a stage, choose your role wisely. Or let's say life is just a play, choose your role wisely, something like that. And I was literally very inspired because at the end, just see yourself as an actor and just act very well in an apt manner. Enjoy your life and just be fully content, be fulfilled, and be absolute. Because at the end, you all will die. No, I will just being very honest. At the end, all the actors of the stage they will be gone. No one cares. Let's say who did 1,000 push-ups, who had those muscles, who did 100 pull-ups, who was CA, who was not. Nobody cares. Even if someone cares, even he or she may would have been died after a time. So yes, we are limited for a limited time. We are an actor in this whole play. Just live well and enjoy in absoluteness. That's it.
Okay, so I have one thing that I would like to convey to the audience. See, if any of you are trying to embark on this self improvement journey, there's just one rule I have kept for myself, which I discovered about 2 or 3 months ago myself. So the rule is don't give a name to your suffering. Don't be like, this is my last stand, this is my only hope, this is my only motivation, it is this or nothing. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't give it a motive. For example, maybe you are trying to get up early for a continuous week, and you'll just say to yourself that it is this or nothing. If I can't get up every single day, I am screwed. So once you give it importance, once you give it a name, you'll be so fearful about it that maybe if I missed one day of the 6 days, earlier the last week you were doing nothing. Now this week, out of the 7 days, you did wake up on time 6 days. It is that is monumental. But you'll be so hard on yourself that I've still failed on my mission, on this quote unquote very great thing that I've wanted to do. So don't give a name to your suffering. You're just supposed to do it. That is the point. And as for the point of absoluteness versus relativeness, compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to someone else is today, because we don't know what sort of journey they had. Maybe they have been on your self improvement journey, which you started 1 year ago. Maybe they started 5 years ago. And maybe when you will be 5 years ahead of them, they'll be 10 years. So that you just don't need to compare your journey with everyone else. Now, if you were to compare with someone, it should be who you were yesterday. Maybe you didn't wake up on time yesterday. Maybe you didn't eat right yesterday. Maybe you just slept the entire day and had junk food. So today you can improve, and that will be a substantial change from your past self. And a quote that also comes to my mind is, too busy mowing my own lawn to check if your grass is greener. Just enjoy your
Exactly.
own garden. Why do you want to care about the orchard that another has planted? Maybe they have worms, or maybe they don't. It is not your fault, nor is it your concern.
It reminds me one motivational speaker, even you must have heard of him, Sandeep Maheshwari. In one interview, he was asked that in your spiritual journey, because he's also at some good level of spirituality and he's a successful businessman as well. He owns the company Images Bazaar. Yes, he's a successful entrepreneur at one end, and on the second end, he's a good spiritual person. He has some good knowledge related to spirituality, philosophy, and all those stuff. So in one interview, when he was asked, then at your time of self improvement, at your time of entrepreneurship and all those stuff, didn't you worry about what other people were saying of you and whatever your relatives were thinking of you? Because in many of his videos, he shared about his personal life, like how his relatives were opposing him and all those stuff. So when in interview he was asked this specific question, and Sandeep Mishra was asked this specific question that didn't you get the time to think of all those things that people were thinking of you? Didn't you worry about what the people were thinking of you? Didn't you worry about the relatives and all those stuff? There was one simple line that he answered. He said that I actually didn't have time to think of all those stuff. That rightly relates to the quote that he said, right? That is something which actually struck my mind. So for this episode, I think this conversation brings us to an end up till here. And I think Ayush, Mai, and the audience that is listening to us, their cups are filled up to the brim with the insights that you have shared with us. So that was some beautiful episode, rather the first episode that we shot of the transformative tapes. And with this, I think we'll come to an end to this episode. And very soon we'll be coming with another episode of Transformation Tapes, second episode with another new guest. Till then, stay curious, stay excited, and most importantly, stay tuned.